y'all, it's me, Chelsey, and this video will be an update of how my second pregnancy has gone so far. So let's get into it. I am 23 weeks pregnant. Let's see my baby bump. And I'll start off with how I started suspecting that I was pregnant and then everything that followed after that. So back at the end of June, we went to Florida. And when we got back, I started feeling a little sick and we flew out there. So I figured that I was getting a cold from just being in the airport, but I had known that sometimes cold symptoms can be an early sign of pregnancy. So that was the first thing. And then I was super exhausted in the days following the trip. And of course, I just assumed that that was because we were traveling. It was our first time taking Liana on a plane, and it was a lot. The trip was a lot. So I just assumed that that's why I was so tired. And then a couple weeks later, we went to the zoo, local zoo out here, and it was pretty big, but it was hot, and by this point it was July, so the dead of summertime, and I was getting really overheated, not to the point of getting sick, but just where I had to keep taking breaks, and I figured that, like, okay, maybe I'm just overwhelmed from just being in Florida for those few days and then coming out here, and the heat was just getting to me. So again, I didn't think much of it. Okay, so of course, probably about it was within the next 2 weeks that I took a pregnancy test and found out that I was pregnant. And then it was almost like immediately after I started feeling real pregnancy symptoms. So the first thing I noticed was like major nipple soreness. I had that pretty much the first 2 months of the pregnancy, and since I'm still nursing Liana, everything was so intense. My nipples were just super sensitive to touch, and yeah, it was just a painful experience still trying to breastfeed her, and with my nipples starting to change, I guess, through the beginning of the pregnancy. So I also had a super intense symptom that has still been around. I had it with the end of my pregnancy with Liana, but this time it's been pretty much the whole pregnancy. Dysgeusia, if I'm pronouncing that right, it's where you get like a sour, sometimes metallic taste in your mouth just at any time of the day. Sometimes it can come right after you eat or after you drink something, but I experience it pretty much all day. So it kind of affects how my appetite is. If I eat something immediately after, the taste of the food will go away and I'll get the sour taste. It's pretty comparable to eating lemons or sour candy. Disgusting. Another symptom is just exhaustion. The first 2-3 months, I was super tired, laying around poorly on. I had to change up her whole day-to-day schedule most of the time because I just couldn't really do much without getting super tired, and that's including cooking breakfast or showering sometimes. I mean, just literally everything was making me feel so tired. I had back aches the first 2-3 months that were pretty intense, lower back aches. And since I didn't have my first appointment for a couple months, of course that made me nervous, but thankfully everything's okay. I also had a lot of nausea. Pretty much the first 4 months, yeah, extreme nausea, to the point where I was like actually vomiting, and it took me by surprise because with my first pregnancy, I had nausea, but hardly ever threw up. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 times that I actually vomited, but this time, I mean, I was vomiting 3 or 4 times a week, not keeping most of my food down, and yeah, that was intense. And then up until maybe about the end of the 4th month, the vomiting kind of just turned to like gagging when I would eat or after I would eat. And then now the nausea just lingers, but I don't really feel the urge to throw up, thankfully. Still lots of nausea. But I lost in the first 3 months 13 pounds, and I'm finally starting to pick up a couple pounds a week, hoping I can stay on that track. Yes, so that's that with the nausea. Shortness of breath, as you can tell, now I still deal with shortness of breath, but it was a very early symptom for me too. I noticed that when I was at the zoo before I found out that I was officially pregnant. I I was having a lot of shortness of breath then, and super weak, like tooth enamel. After I had Liana, I had experienced cavities and just super sensitive teeth. I've always had little sensitivity in my teeth, but now it's just pretty intense. So I've been dealing with that. Okay, so at the 13-week mark, my boobs like literally dried up. No more milk for Liana, and I only realized one day when I noticed she was favoring one breast, and I just happened to check the other one because my doctor told me that, you know, soon they may dry up, or just that your milk supply may shorten. And I checked, and there was literally nothing coming out of one boob. And then she had about a week left in the other one, and that one was empty after about a week. So as of now, I still have no milk coming in, which is pretty normal from what I've read up on, and it should return right, I guess, right before baby number 2 comes. And yeah, so we have been trying to work on weaning with Liana, which can be a whole other video in itself if y'all are interested in that. But now I kind of been having to forcefully naturally wean her, and it's been hard with the soreness, and just trying to get her to understand that there's just nothing coming out right now. It's been a whole thing. Now that there's no milk coming out, I still experience soreness, not as much as I did within the first few months of pregnancy, but it's still there. Around the 15-week mark, I started feeling just pretty intense, like bladder issues, having to use the bathroom all through the night, and a lot of these things I experienced in the 8th and 9th months of my pregnancy with Liana. So it was just kind of odd for me to think that I would experience these things earlier on, but pretty normal. And then I started feeling flutters at about 18 weeks. I could feel baby late at night, and really he's kind of kept to the same schedule. I feel him at different parts of the day. Not really so much all day, which compared to Liana, I could kind of poke at her and feel her all day. But with this baby, I can feel him at certain times of the day. Like he's up super late at night. He's up right now, super early in the morning, like 2 or 3 a.m. and then around 6 or 7 a.m. So he's got his times where he's up, and then when he's up for like an hour or so. So I've been kicking around and can actually see movement. But yeah, the first feeling I started to feel was at 18 weeks, which was earlier than Liana, and that's pretty common to experience movement earlier because baby has more room to grow this time, and since your uterus has already expanded before, or shortly before I hit the 20-week mark, I kind of, like I said, stopped really with the vomiting. I still have the dysgeusia with the yucky taste in my mouth. My appetite is still pretty low. I'm starting to eat smaller meals throughout the day to kind of keep myself from losing weight, but hopefully that will help me with gaining weight. And yeah, but as you guys have saw, my belly is growing. So I found out about a week and a half ago now that the baby is actually transverse. So he's laying horizontally, which is why it can look like, it kind of looks like I have a big bump right here at the top because that's where he's sitting. I feel like my stomach started to show a lot sooner this time around, and it's getting bigger faster, which is kind of odd since I'm not really gaining weight, but my belly's still growing. So pregnancy is a funny thing like that. So I had some questions that I asked you guys to let me know if you had any about this pregnancy, and a big one was how have we been explaining to Liana that she's got a sibling coming. So Liana was with me when I took the first pregnancy test, and I kind of told her right then in the moment, because nobody else was here, that mommy's got a baby growing in the belly, and ever since she's been like sort of semi-obsessed with the idea that there's something in here and it's a little baby. So before I found out I was pregnant, Liana was kind of into, super into babies. Just glad to see them. She liked the idea of just thinking that they're so soft, cute, and little. Literally her words. She calls them soft, cute, and little. She's super into babies, and she's also really into calling herself a baby, or just considering herself to be a little baby. So I think she just got excited with the fact that, oh, there's a baby coming, or, you know, there's a baby that mommy has with her all the time. And she's really been treating it like, the baby's just here, but she can't see them. So she'll talk to my belly, she'll tickle it, or she'll share her snacks sometimes with it. It's really cute. But so far, she's been doing pretty good. And hopefully, when the baby comes, she'll still have the same energy about, being excited to be around them and share things with them. And Liana's very nurturing, so a little bossy, but very nurturing. So we think she'll be excited to help out with baby, and we can't wait to see how that whole relationship begins with them. So how am I feeling now? Currently, I am feeling pretty good. My energy has been up for the past few weeks, but with my appetite being so low and not eating so much of anything really, my portion size is like half of what I normally eat. Um, that's kind of thrown off, like just how I felt about doing things. So if I wait too long to eat, obviously I won't feel too good. And then if I eat too much within a short period of time, that doesn't make me feel good either. So, and then sometimes I get where if I eat, I have to like sit down and kind of chill out for a little bit afterward, just to kind of, I guess maybe to let the food digest. But just because I don't have much energy right when I eat, I don't know. It's almost like I immediately feel sluggish sometimes after I eat. So I've been trying to work on what I'm eating, making sure that if I do eat something that's not super heavy, since I don't eat much anyway, and that seems to have been helping. I'm excited. That's kind of what has kept me going most of the pregnancy too, with being sicker than I was with Liana. Just being excited about the fact that I'm growing a healthy baby, that this is my second pregnancy, that Liana's going to be an older sister. So many things that I'm excited about have just kept me feeling positive about this pregnancy. So I already told y'all that I have been feeling a lot sicker with this pregnancy than I was with Liana. That was another question I had, is how has this pregnancy been different from Liana's? And with Liana, I was hardly ever sick. I was nauseous, like I said, a few times, and I think it was mostly out of anxiousness and nerves from having to tell everybody that we were pregnant. Yeah, so I hardly ever got sick from actually carrying her or from anything I ate. Also, so I ended up developing shortly after I had Liana hypothyroidism. And with that, I'm pretty certain that I had it at the last couple months of my pregnancy. So I had major swelling in the last 3 months. From my calves all the way down to my feet, I mean, were massive. I didn't really have much swelling in my hands, but my face was swollen. I gained probably about 60 pounds when I was pregnant with Liana. So I was a lot heavier. I didn't have much energy to do anything then, not necessarily because I was so tired, but just because I just felt so heavy and I was carrying around so much extra weight. But this time, I'm a lot lighter on my feet. And when I do have energy, bouts of energy, it's pretty good because I don't feel nearly as heavy as I did with her. I'm hoping it kind of stays this way. Also, I worked during my last pregnancy. So I worked up until about 2 weeks before I gave birth to Liana. And that was a whole experience too, with having to drag into work every day and still be expected to work my job when sometimes I wasn't feeling well or just didn't want to be there because I wanted to lay around with as big as I got. But now it's different because at home, I stay at home with Liana. So I'm chasing around a toddler all day, which, mom life never stops. But also, we are doing a lot more, I feel like, than we were doing before. So we have traveled multiple times during this pregnancy, and which is a good thing because it's kept me from just kind of sitting for too long. And I appreciate that. It's kept me active in some way. And yeah, so that's a good difference. I couldn't imagine having to go to work, and thankfully, I don't have to right now, with being as sick as I was this time. So I also was asked if baby was going to have his own nursery, and yes, he is. I'm sitting in his nursery right now. It's obviously not complete, but I'm hoping to have that done hopefully before January ends because, yeah, I like to be prepared. Um, and we decided on not sharing a room because Liana is 2.5, or just about 2.5, and she still kind of gets up in the night sometimes if she hears loud noises or if she feels too much movement or feels that you're not there. Sometimes she'll get up, and just having to wake up multiple times with the baby in the night, I know would wake her up. So her sleeping schedule is not set right now to where she can be in the same room with the baby and both of them sleep comfortably. Also, space wise, it would just work out better to have a separate space for baby. Yeah. So y'all will be seeing nursery content coming very soon. I've been ordering a couple things here and there, and can't wait to get really started on this room. Oh, so most of y'all who are following me on Instagram know that we are having a boy. We had a gender reveal party on Halloween. Insert a clip here. But yes, so we're having a boy, and yeah, it's pretty exciting. I don't feel much different about the gender per se, because I kind of suspected that it would be a boy, but also to me, you know, I didn't really have a super big preference on what it would be. We want a few more kids down the line, so I felt like eventually we would have a boy if we didn't have one this time. But Orlando's pretty excited about it. He would have preferred all girls, honestly, but hey, we got a baby boy coming. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions about this pregnancy, drop them in the comment box below and I will answer them. I hope you can give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, hit the button and subscribe, and you'll be seeing a lot more content coming soon. Baby related, home related, including baby. And if you are interested in pregnancy updates, I'll be doing another one towards the end of the pregnancy this time. So yeah, thanks for stopping by.